individuals. Gusto kong simulan yung sarili kong tugon from the lens of my own experiences. Most of you know, yung pagpasok ko sa politika, hindi by design or by intent. Yung aking late husband, si Jessie, na pareho atenista sa Kalasalista. Ateneo High School, De La Salle College. Siya talaga yung politiko sa pamilya namin. He was mayor of Naga for 6 terms. Habang mayor po siya ng Naga, I worked as a human rights lawyer. And I was connected with an NGO called Saligan. Pero nung nawala po siya, when we lost him in 2012, ako yung naisa lang bilang representative namin sa distrito, 3rd District of Camarines Sur, to make sure na yung local political party will not disintegrate. Kasi yung plane crash po nangyari siya at the heels of the 2013 elections. Wala akong preparasyon, walang mahabang training, walang experience bilang kandidato. Pero ang tinalo namin noong 2013, isang very well-entrenched na political dynasty. Pero yung totoo po nun, parang transition candidate lang ako. Dapat. Isang term lang dapat ako. And in fact, habang nakaupo ako, inihanda ko na yung papalit sa akin. I was supposed to go back to private life and take care of my daughters after. Pero naiba yung maraming plano. When I was asked by the Liberal Party to be Secretary Mars VP, I knew all the odds were against me. I was running against 5 incumbent senators who all had national exposure. Habang ako po ay relative unknown. Nagsimula ako 1% in the surveys, pang-6 sa 6 na kandidato. Pero gaya ng sa lahat ng bagay, ang naisip ko, walang hindi nadadala sa sipag. At the end of the campaign season, ako yung national candidate who had traveled the most around the country. Pinapakita ko sa slide dito, may mga media may mga media articles na parang sinundan nila yung lakad namin lahat. Ako yung pinakamaraming napuntahan, talagang sobrang sipag ko noon. It was an uphill battle, but eventually we succeeded. And in June 30 of 2016, I was sworn in as Vice President. Pero di pa doon natapos yung laban. Panalo na tayo, pero I had to contend with a long-drawn electoral protest. Hindi pa umiinit yung upuan ko sa opisina, dinumog na kami ng mga trolls. Yung disinformation operations laban sa akin, nagsimula actually when my numbers started picking up nung campaign of 2016 at tuloy-tuloy pa din hanggang ngayon. Hindi pa man nagsisimula yung term ko, sinabi ng presidente that he had no intention of giving me a cabinet post. Ang naisip ko noon, hindi naman pwede na 6 na taon kami na nasa OVP. Tapos panay ceremonial work lang yung gagawin namin. So from day 1, inilatag ko na yung vision ko for the office of the Vice President, transforming ourselves into a more relevant, more responsive, and more advocacy-heavy office. Pero ang tanong kasi noon sa akin, saan tayo kukuha ng resources? Isa kami sa pinakamababang budgets in the entire bureaucracy. Isa din sa pinakamaliit na workforce. Ang baon lang namin yung confidence that many people from the private sector would want to help. A network of people who knew kung nasaan ang mga kailangan ng tulong, and a deep knowledge of the mindset and processes needed to help sustainably. So ang naging operationalization noon ay yung Angat Buhay. Ito yung aming anti-poverty program which we launched as soon as we started work at the OVP. We positioned our office as a sort of a conduit. May gustong tumulong, may kailangan tulungan, nandun kami para magpatupad ng mga programa na sustainable, empowering, at scalable rather than cosmetic, one-time, big-time assistance. Ang isa pang alam namin, darating lang ang tulong kung may tiwala sa amin yung mga gustong tumulong. Kapag nagpabaya kami, kapag nagbigay kami ng dahilan para mawalan ng tiwala sa amin ang mga partner organizations, syempre yung magdurusa yung aming mga communities. Kaya naging imperative sa amin yung pagsiguro that we earn the trust of the public. Sa unang taon ko pa lang sa OVP, yung pinagtrabahuhan namin yung aming ISO certification, which we achieved in 2017. Every year hanggang ngayon, nare-certify kami. Tinututukan din namin yung pag-achieve ng unqualified opinion ng COA, which we have been getting 3 years in a row already. Balet 2018, 2019, 2020. We made sure that all transparency and accountability measures were in place. Pati na yung professionalizing our ranks. We devote a lot of investment in pagpapahusay sa aming mga staff. Never ako nakialam sa kahit isang appointment or promotion ng empleyado namin sa opisina. Everyone gets in or is promoted through a merit-based system. May committee kami na nag-handle nito. And hindi ako miyembro ng committee na yon. Ang bunga nito yung tagumpay ng Angat Buhay. We have partnered with more than 330 organizations. We have mobilized a total of 441 million worth of resources in 381 communities nationwide. Hindi pa dito kasama yung COVID response operations namin. Ang dami ng naging proyekto under Angat Buhay. Just to give you an idea, magka-quick rundown tayo dito. Sa mga lugar na napakataas ng dropout rate sa high school, nagpatayo kami ng mga dormitories sa loob ng mga campuses. As example nito sa Sumilo, Bukidnon, Balangkayan at Salcedo Eastern Samar, Siayan in Zamboanga del Norte, meron din sa Negros, among many other communities. Sa agriculture, iba't iba yung programa namin. May mga farmer groups na equipment ang aming binibigay para ma-mechanize na sila. Ma-mechanize na nila yung kanilang operation. And this has yielded amazing results. For example, itong nasa picture na nakikita nyo, isang farmer group ito sa Iloilo, Kabatuan, Iloilo, na binigyan namin ng mga equipment. In no time, mahigit doble na yung increase ng yield at income nila. May mga farmers din kami sa Bicol whom we have trained to be farmer entrepreneurs. Marami sa kanila na kumbinsi na natin na mag-shift na sa high-value crops. Kung dati halos sukuan na nila ang pagsasaka dahil mahina ang kinikita. Ngayon marami na silang kontrata with institutional buyers, mga restaurants, groceries, mga hospitals, hotels, at tuloy-tuloy all year round ang pagsusupply nila. In San Remigio in Cebu, we have a mental health program at nagpatayo kami ng mental health facility doon so that mental health patients are already getting a fresh start at our mental health facility. Nagtayo din kami ng mga Angat Buhay villages in places reeling from disasters. Yung nakikita niyong picture ngayon is in Marawi. We built this after the siege. Completely private funds. This was also followed by several villages in Camarines Sur for survivors of the landslides and storm surges. Yung sunod-sunod na bagyo noong November of last year. And in Albay also for families whose homes were buried by lahar. So ito tuloy-tuloy yung pagpapagawa namin ng mga bahay. We have also energized entire communities in far-flung areas like Agutaya, Palawan. I don't know if you've heard of Agutaya, but it's an island. It's a group of islands of Palawan, northern Palawan, that can be reached by a 16-hour boat ride from Coron. I've been there twice already. For the first time, may ilaw na sa bahay nila dahil sa solar electrification initiatives natin with our private partners. Itong mga ito are just examples of the many projects that we've been doing in many of our communities, and nagawa namin ito not by imposing solutions on them, but by looping them into the entire development process. Kabahagi sila from start to finish. Nakinig muna kami, tinanong sila, ano ba ang kwento ninyo? Ano ba ang kailangan tugunan? Tapos we brought everyone together, harmonized yung efforts and resources para ang initiatives really powered by collaboration. And the same principle is what keeps us moving forward, allowing us to do more with less and reach out to more people, especially in this time of pandemic. Naging hamon pa rin yung limited resources at logistics, pero tulad ng ginagawa namin sa Angat Buhay, we harness the goodwill of our people. Naging madali yung pag-transition to COVID response operations dahil siguro nasa DNA na ng OVP yung empowering bayanihan approach. Yung nakasanayan kasi namin from our previous initiatives allowed us to be more agile in our COVID response efforts. By the time ECQ was declared in Metro Manila in March of 2020, our COVID-19 response operations was already in place. We were then already providing PPE sets for medical frontliners in many hospitals. Nung naging mahirap yung supply ng PPE because we were competing with the rest of the world, gumawa agad tayo ng medically approved and locally produced PPE sets. Ang katulong natin dito this time, yung mga local designers and sewers from our communities. So parang hitting two birds with one stone. Kasi yung mga local communities nabigyan ng hanap buhay while we were providing PPEs to many hospitals. When ECQ was first declared in March 16, na-paralyze yung entire public transport system natin. Kinaumagahan, meron na kaming shuttle services. We applied 8 routes in Metro Manila at kahit wala kaming background at all sa transport, nagawa namin na may eksaktong oras yung dating at alis sa bawat stop, gaya sa ibang bansa. We were able to serve 220,229 passengers all in all. ECQ lang namin ito ginawa kasi doon lang naman na-paralyze yung public transport. Nalaman din namin sa mga pasahero namin while we were doing the shuttle buses na kailangan pala nila ng dormitories. Kaya that same week, nagbukas kami ng libreng dormitories para sa mga frontliners. We were able to open 12 dormitories in Metro Manila, which catered to 498 frontliners. Nagtayo din kami ng mga temporary shelters for medical frontliners sa loob ng Lung Center and KTI at Quezon Memorial Medical Center. Pag nakita nyo yung picture, dinonate yan sa amin ng IKEA. Di ba yung IKEA pabukas na dito sa atin? Nag-donate sila ng mga shelters. Di sabi nila ginagamit nila yan sa Afghanistan. And then we decided to convert them into temporary shelters. Yung mga ospital na may space pa sa loob, nakagawa kami nito. And we partnered with local designers, local landscapers, para mabigyan sila ng Oasis. So we called it our Oasis Project. Meron tayong 3 sa Lung Center, sa NKTI, Quezon Memorial Medical Center. Some of the shelters were used as triage facilities in other hospitals. Nung bigla namang nagka-surge ng cases sa Cebu, we replicated our programs there. Yung na-launch namin ang pangalan Bayanihan Sugbuanon. We were able to do bus and ferry shuttle services. Yung ferry namin from Olango Island to Lapu-Lapu, which catered to 11,768 frontliners. We also opened 9 dormitories, free dormitories for 233 frontliners in Cebu. Nakita rin namin na noong unang nag-lockdown, nawala ng kita yung mga small vendors at ito yung mga market vendors saka yung mga nagtitinda sa mga talipapa at tricycle drivers natin. So we launched an online palengke app called Community Mart. Yung isa sa Camarines, Quezon City, yung isa sa Mega Market ng Pasig, yung isa sa Muntinlupa. Hindi lang ito para magkaroon sila ng kita habang naka-lockdown, pero para na din makapag-provide ng delivery service na mura na galing sa market. Umabot ng 30.5 million yung total sales natin. As of now, yung Muntinlupa ay tuloy-tuloy pa. Nakapagbigay tayo ng hanap buhay, hindi lang sa vendors, pero pati doon sa mga delivery na TODA drivers. Aside from this, we have also been extending relief assistance to poor communities, pati na mga pagkain at soup kitchens. Bumibili kami ng mga gulay sa mga farmers. Ito yung mga gulay na binili namin, tapos nagpa-partner kami with communities, nagkakaroon ng soup kitchens. Until now, tuloy-tuloy ito. Nag-start kami nito March of 2020 until now. We still continue to do that. When DepEd announced it will do blended learning, we launched our Bayanihan E-Skwela initiative, where we did a gadget donation drive, providing about 3,647 gadgets to mostly college students who did not have the capacity to buy gadgets of their own. Karamihan sa kanila, cellphone lang yung gamit para mag-attend ng online classes. And may mga cases pa na they have had to share their cell phones with other siblings. So sila yung prioritize natin. We also produce instructional videos to help teachers and parents cope with distance learning. And ito, nag-partner naman tayo sa mga ad agencies, sa mga creatives, sa mga talents. We also set up community learning hubs. We have community learning hubs in 58 locations nationwide. Para ito sa mga bata na walang magulang na makakapagturo sa kanila sa bahay. We equipped our learning hubs not just with gadgets but also with tutors na makakatulong sa mga estudyante sa kanilang mga modules. As of now, we are catering to more than 4,000 grade school students in our 58 community learning hubs. Para naman makatulong sa mga kababayan natin na nagtatrabaho, we also launched Bayanihanapbuhay Programs for those whose livelihood were affected by the pandemic. May iba't ibang components under nito. Yung pinakauna ay sikap.ph. It's a jobs matching platform for blue-collar workers. We partnered with 394 employers and posted 29,364 job vacancies on our site. Actually, ito kulang tayo ng applicants. Of the 29,000 vacancies, kulang pa din yung nag-a-apply until now. So we're partnering with LGUs kasi ang problema namin online ito. So baka yung mga nangangailangan ay walang capacity to do online job search. We're doing something about it. We also launched iskaparate.com kung saan binibigyan natin ng online presence yung mga maliliit na negosyante na walang capacity na magkaroon ng online presence. As of now, meron tayong 131 na maliliit na negosyante na nasa iskaparate.com. Pero tuloy-tuloy ngayon ang tech training natin sa mga gusto pang sumali. We also launched Trabaho. This is a program we're doing with USAID and Philippine Business for Education. Isa itong apprenticeship program for 1,000 out-of-school youth kung saan karamihan sa kanila ay nagtatrabaho na ngayon with our partners. Recently, we also launched a social entrepreneurship program with the LSU and ING. Kala-launch lang nito last month. And another program, ang tawag dito ay Upskills Training Program, also with ING and Dual Tech. When our hospitals were getting congested, we launched our free telemedicine consultation service called Bayanihan E-Consulta. Since we launched last April 7, we have received a total of 55,587 messages already. Ano po ito? Facebook. Bakit siya Facebook? Kasi ang Facebook ang may free data. We are aware that there are also a lot of telemedicine programs out there, pero karamihan sa kanila kailangan ng Wi-Fi. Kailangan ng Wi-Fi signal. Ito, we made sure na free data siya. And we have been getting a lot of messages. Right now na nagka-surge ulit, we continue to receive an average of about 400 cases a day. Para matugunan ito, we are doing Bayanihan E-Consulta with the help of 1,184 volunteer doctors and 3,574 volunteer call bridging agents. Tuloy po ito since April 7. Aside from this, we have been providing COVID care kits, mobile laboratory, and other services to those who need it. We also launched our Swab Cab Mass testing drive to help test and trace more people who are either getting sick, have been exposed to someone who tested positive, or live in identified high transmission areas. We rolled out Vaccine Express in different LGUs to help speed up vaccine deployment. We have already brought this to Manila, Quezon City, Pasig, Naga, and Iriga. This weekend, we will be in San Pedro, Laguna, and next weekend, we will be in San Fernando, Pampanga. In some instances, we provide incentives to address vaccine hesitancy. Halimbawa po nito ay nung nag-Bakuna Express kami for TODA drivers and delivery riders in Manila, namigay po kami ng 500 peso gas cards in partnership with Sea Oil Foundation. Nung nagbakuna din kami sa mga jeepney and tricycle drivers in Quezon City, Sir Philip, sa tulong po ito ni na Joseph, we gave out 500 peso worth of Pure Gold gift certificates. Of course, in partnership with Pure Gold. Patapos na po tayo. We have since extended our services not just in Metro Manila and Cebu, but in other places where our help was sought, in Puerto Princesa, Palawan, in Bicol, in Iloilo, and even in Tuguegarao. Grabe po yung bayanihan na nasaksihan namin as more partners, more donors, more volunteers came pouring in. Marami ang handang makiambag. Some are just waiting for a center of gravity to orbit around. Lahat pong programa nagiging posible because of the willingness of ordinary Filipinos to contribute. Pero ang experience po namin on the ground, parang naging klaro sa amin. Hindi lahat talaga pwedeng madaan sa pagkakawang gawa. In a crisis of this magnitude, nakita namin na government should really endeavor to be the center of gravity. Center of gravity not just of government action, but of everyone and everything na gumagalaw in pursuit of the same goals. Kailangan gumalaw ang lahat tungo sa iisang direksyon. And paniniwala po namin, this is also a function of leadership. Kailangan may isa talagang konduktor na kumukumpas para siguruhin na lahat ng mga gumagalaw in harmony. Yung leader, dapat siya yung nagbibigay ng direksyon kung saan ba tayo patutungo. In very difficult circumstances such as the one we have now, the leader also serves as the inspirational guide. Nakita po namin sa trabaho namin, nakita namin yun sa trabaho namin ngayon. You're only able to do the many things na ginagawa namin dahil maraming tao outside our usual circles na inspired makiambag at tumulong. Ang liit lang po ng opisina namin, and all our initiatives have been powered by volunteers. Sa experience namin, hindi naging mahirap magyaya ng tao. Kapag meron po kaming volunteer sign-ups, overnight lang, we get thousands of people wanting to help. Nakita namin ito also when we did our donation drives with our partner Kaya Natin movement. Noong March 2020, when we made a call, Kaya Natin was able to collect more than 60 million in just 3 weeks. Noong sunod-sunod po yung mga bagyo, kung naalala nyo, yung Rolly, yung Ulysses, November of last year, we made another call and Kaya Natin received more than 72 million in less than a month. Clearly, dito pinapakita talaga na yung tao gustong tumulong. Kailangan lang talaga na may tiwala siya kung saan mapupunta yung kanyang tulong. Ito din po yung klase ng leadership na natutunan ko sa asawa ko kapag may krisis. Iba ang lakas na naipapakita ng ordinaryong manggagawa. Kapag nakikita niya na yung nakatataas sa kanya, nagtatrabaho at nagpapagod rin tulad niya. They do not mind putting in the long hours kung kasama nila tayo sa ground, lumalaban alongside them. Naalala ko po si Jessie noon kapag bumabagyo, nandun siya sa kalsada, naglilinis ng putik at sumasama mismo sa garbage truck sa paghahakot ng mga basura at paglilinis ng daan. Sa Bayanihan E-Consulta po namin, ako naka-graveyard shift ako ngayon with our emergency team, magdamag hanggang umaga. Ang paniniwala ko po, hindi lang ito symbolism. Pero dito kasi humuhugot ang lakas ang lahat. Na kahit mahirap, sige lang ng sige. Laban pa rin ng laban. Kasi kung armchair leader lang, mahirap pag krisis. Mahirap magdesisyon na ang basehan mo lang ay mga report sa'yo. Kasi minsan may tendency pa yung mga nakapaligid sa'yo na good news lang yung sasabihin. Pero kung tayo mismo yung gumagawa ng trabaho alongside our staff, tayo mismo, we have more than second-hand stories to ground our decisions. Malalaman natin first-hand kung ano ang problema at kung ano ang pangunahing pangangailangan. Yung sense of urgency, nandyan kasi ramdam natin kasi nandun tayo sa front lines. And of course, role din ng gobyerno na tingnan kung nasaan ang ugat ng mga problema, kung nasaan ang systemic and structural gaps para makapaglatag ng policy to address these gaps. Since last year po, we have been regularly consulting experts and have made several recommendations. Patuloy nating idinidiin ito, ang mga ito ngayon. Kabilang dito ang mas mabilis. Ito po parang sirang plaka na kami dito, pero kabilang dito yung mas mabilis at integrated na sistema para sa testing, tracing, treatment. Pangunahin na ang isang solid na database. Ang direktang paghahatid ng bakuna sa komunidad at tao, ang pag-review ng perang nakalap, hindi lang mula sa syntax pero lahat na pwedeng pagkunan upang mailaan ito tungo sa pangangailangan pang pandemya. Ang pagbabayad ng mga utang ng PhilHealth sa mga ospital para masigurong hindi sila titigil ng operasyon. Yung wasto at hustong pagpapatupad ng universal healthcare, ang pagpasa ng Bayanihan 3, at ang pagsigurong maitututok ang pondong bunga ng batas na ito sa pagsigurong walang magugutom at walang mawawalan ng tirahan. Ang pagpapautang sa mga maliliit na negosyo, ngayon nga po, pakiramdam namin hindi na sapat yung pagpapautang. Para sa amin ngayon, ano na talaga, parang conditional grant na dapat yung binibigay para nakaangkla siya sa employment. Malawakang retraining din para makasabay tayo sa nagbabagong mukha ng mga industriya. Ang paglalaan po ng higit pang pondo para maiangat ang kalidad ng edukasyon. And so siguro in closing, babalik tayo dun sa question. Ano ba ang maiaambag ng bawat isa sa atin sa hamon ng pandemya? And sa akin po, for us at the Office of the Vice President, the answer has less to do with kung ano ang ikinikilos, but rather kung paano kumikilos. Yung pagdudugtong-dugtong ng efforts, paghahanap ng mga tao at grupo na aligned with our values, harmonizing everyone's steps towards a singular goal. This was how we scaled up, and this is the reason why we are able to do more and help more. Yung acting with urgency, single-mindedness, animated by the imperative to help. Ang lagi naming tanong, saan ba ang gaps? Ano ba ang kailangan? Paano ba tayo makakakilos ng mabilis, efficient, at impactful? You are able to train ourselves to make do with the little that we have, to do more with less, to act, eto po mahalaga, swiftly, to be nimble, to be agile, to have a sense of what people need, to work quietly but with transparency and accountability. Kaya ito po yung mensahe ko talaga ngayon to everyone who is here with us, to keep engaging, keep widening and strengthening your networks. Gawin po natin ang kailangang gawin at mas ibigay pa natin ang ating mga sarili dahil krisis nga ngayon. Laliman pa po yung ugnayan sa isa't isa, magbabad sa mga komunidad, maging maparaan, maging malikhain sa paghanap ng solusyon. If we are able to solve one problem, let's move further, find more gaps, let's fill them, let's inspire others to do the same. Lahat po tayo may maiaambag. Walang maliit na hakbang, lahat mahalaga. So the challenges we face today are indeed enormous, but the opportunities likewise abound. Opportunities to engage each other in forging a society that is fairer and kinder, that is more humane, more inclusive. And ito mahalaga, that recognizes the dignity, especially of the most vulnerable among us. So marami pa po tayong kayang gawin, pero ang alam ko, sigurado ako, kung magtutulungan tayo, maaabot natin ang better normal na minimithi natin. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Maraming